We're now joined by Bruce Watson of Big Country and Watson, Kercheval, Watson. How are you today?
I'm good.
Well, fantastic. We're loving the new album. Can't wait to share it, all the news with everybody. But if you could take us back, I know you were originally born in Canada, but you grew up, of course, in Scotland. Talk about growing up and how you fell in love with music. Who's some of your first favorite, artists or albums were?
Kind of like in the early rock music, David Bowie, stuff like that, a bit of glam rock, and then towards the late 70s, the punk thing happened across here. I kind of got into the Clash and the Skids. The Skids were a local band, which Stuart Adamson was in as well. So those were my kind of favourite bands.
Well, fantastic. At what age did you start playing guitar and starting to make original music?
Oh, probably about 15 years old, I think.
Okay. And was it your parents helped you get a guitar? Did you save up for it with a job? How did you get your first guitar?
I kind of bugged my mum for the guitar, and probably like everybody else, I wanted a guitar. Ended up getting a cheap and nasty acoustic to start on, which was hopeless. And then I when I left school, got a job, saved up some money, and got myself my first electric guitar. And then you realise that, hold on a minute, I need to buy an amplifier as well. Oh, I need to buy a cable, So it was a long process, but I got there in the end.
That's great. Well, we obviously in America, in the early 80s had the launch of MTV, and now all of a sudden all this great music, leading into from the late 70s, now we could watch it, and there was all these videos and live concert clips, in our living room, and it was quite special. Before 1980, I was living in the Vancouver, Seattle area, and I was heavily involved in concert promotion, helped put on the Clash's first shows they ever did in North America, and worked with a lot of the, the big bands coming up. And so by the time I moved to LA in 80, it was the birth of MTV, and so exciting. But, besides the regular videos, In a Big Country was a video that just exploded on the scene. And, the band Big Country became known here with a unique style, the guitars and the vocals. You guys definitely mixed a number of elements, from punk to classic rock and all that with a little bit of Scottish touch. Talk about, getting together with, of course, Stuart Adamson and Tony Butler and Mark, to form the group. I know you co-founded the group with Stuart. Talk about forming the group and what really clicked. What was the mission when you guys started to make music together?
When Stuart left the Skids, he said he wanted to get together with myself to do like a dual guitar kind of thing. So I used to be in a band then. We used to support the Skids, and I used to knew Stuart back then. So when the two of us started working together, we started writing songs on a little Porta Studio cassette recorder, just writing songs together, and we kind of made a conscious effort not to play blues licks or bending, and there was a lot of twin guitar bands out at the time in the UK, like Thin Lizzy and Status Quo, and we loved those bands, but we didn't want to sound like them. So, like I said, we made a conscious effort not to play too bluesy. And we kind of played a lot of melodies on the guitar and affected them with echoes and reverb and chorus and stuff like that. So that's kind of how we got our sound together.
Well, yeah, it definitely stood out. The sound was tremendous. It was anthemic. Big choruses, and I know you guys were using something called the MXR pitch, the Transposer 129 guitar effect, and the EBO. What led you to experiment with that?
basically the MXR pitch transposer, just like it puts your guitar up an octave along with the original signal, or down an octave with the original signal, or a fifth above or a fifth below. And the EBow is just the EBow is not as prominent as what people make out. We use the EBow in a couple of bits and bobs in some of the songs. The EBow is like a little magnetic device, battery operated, and you hold it against the strings of your guitar, and it just gives you like infinite sustain, or until the battery dies, you know. So, but the EBow is not as prominent as what you might think.
Right. Well, you know, coming up with that first album, The Crossing, which of course was gold here in America and a big success in the UK, really put you guys on the map. Talk about writing, you know, those songs for The Crossing. You know, of course, In a Big Country was super big here, but Harvest Home and, you know, Fields of Fire. Talk about the making of that album.
Harvest Home was one of those early demos that Stuart and I did on the little cassette player. Fields of Fire kind of came later when Tony and Mark joined the band. In a Big Country came just after Fields of Fire. Fields of Fire was the first song we recorded with Steve Lillywhite, and he really went to town with Mark, you know, getting that huge drum sound and getting the separation on the kit, you know. So yeah, like I say, Harvest Home was an early song, along with Inwards, which was on The Crossing. Chance kind of came later as well. But yeah, no, it was, you know, we were always striving for originality back in those days, and just trying to come up with something that you know, we were hoping that people had never heard before, and we tried to keep it fresh.
Yeah, well, of course, Steve Lillywhite was known, you know, for his work with U2, with the Boy album in October. You know, how did you come to work with Steve?
We asked our A&R guy if we could work with Steve, you know. And we'd done Harvest Home with Chris Thomas, and we were halfway through doing our first album with Chris Thomas, but it was kind of awkward because Chris was still working with Elton John at the time, and he was always flying out to Montserrat to work with Elton John. And I think Chris Briggs, our A&R guy, kind of felt, along with ourselves, kind of felt that our album was taking a long time to do, you know, because obviously the record company has to make plans, and we were wanting to tour. So we said, like, it would be great if we could work with Steve Lillywhite. And Steve wasn't really available to do a whole album, so he came in and we did Fields of Fire, and, you know, that worked out really, really well. And then I think a window came in where he could be available, so we ended up doing the first album with Steve, you know.
Well, fantastic sound, and again, America was introduced to the band with the In a Big Country, you know, video and song, and of course it incorporated the name of the band in the song. It was so special. Is there any special story behind the making of that video or song?
Oh, well, the video was just basically, like you said earlier, it was like MTV, and you had to have you know, visuals to go along with the song, and obviously the visuals have nothing to do with the song whatsoever, but, you know, you can't be in two places at the one time, so you've got to have a video. All I remember about that was just it was just good fun, just, you know, the four of us just like shooting about in these little all-terrain three-wheeler cycles and scuba diving and pretending we're James Bond for the day, you know. So it was good fun. But the video had nothing to do with the song. In fact, every time we did a video, which was the same for a lot of bands, and you kind of get bored halfway through because you know, it takes that long to set up, and, you know, waiting to get the light right and the conditions right. So when you're doing a video, you tend to be sitting on your butt, hanging around, twiddling your thumbs, you know. So, but the end result was good, and it got us on MTV. So, you know, good stuff.
Yeah, well, I know the band ended up performing on the Grammy Awards, and you guys were the musical guests on Saturday Night Live, which was the main Saturday night, you know, big TV show here. What was it like when you first came to America and realized that you were known in the, you know, the biggest country out there?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I always remember first time Stuart and I, we did a an interview for Entertainment Tonight, and they actually subtitled us because they couldn't understand the word we said, you know. So that was quite fun.
Yeah, that's incredible. Now, obviously, from there, you know, the albums kept coming. You did, of course, the Steel Town album and the Sear. You know, what did you feel as far as going into the next albums? You know, was there a lot of pressure? Did you guys just kind of avoid that and do your own thing? What was the feeling?
You spend all that time, you know, you do your first album, and it's the songs that you've kind of written and you performed them live, you know, probably 18 months previous to that. And then when you get around to doing your second album, obviously the record company wants you to do it kind of quick, and you've been out promoting the first album, so you've not had a chance to write anything for the second album. And so the second album was always a toughie. You know, we ended up kind of writing it in the studio as we were going along, which is quite an inexpensive way of doing it. So, you know, we weren't really prepared for the second album. I don't think any band is prepared for their second album unless they've got loads and loads of songs that they've kept over from the first album, which we didn't.
Well, of course, you had songs like "Where the Rose Is Sown" and "East of Eden," and I noticed that you went to Sweden and did some of the album recording up where ABBA is from. What prompted that?
Steve really wanted to take a year out for tax purposes, so that's the reason we went to Sweden.
Wow!
And also, the ABBA studio, which is called Polar, it was a great studio.
Yeah, of course, a lot of hits coming from there. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Now, I know you guys had the chance to participate in the Band-Aid record. Do they know it's Christmas?
No, we didn't.
Still gets played.
No, we were away in Germany when that happened.
Oh.
We sent a message in that got used on the B-sides, but
Okay.
we weren't available for that. We were away, which had been booked very long before that.
Okay, there we go. Now, I know you guys had the opportunity to even do some shows with Queen and Roger Daltrey. What was some of your musical highlights with Big Country as far as shows or festivals or cities that you played?
The Queen gig was great. That was the last show that Freddie Mercury did with Queen, and we got a chance to support them along with Status Quo as well. And I think the highlights for me was probably touring with the Rolling Stones. You know, we did 2 different tours with the Stones in Europe, and I loved every minute of that.
Well, I know on the next album, The Sear, you had a #1 hit, you know, with "Look Away," and you even, you know, had Kate Bush, you know, doing backing vocals on the title track. What was it like as you went into that third album?
Yeah, I mean, again, we still weren't prepared because obviously we'd been touring the second albums, and again, it was kind of. I think we recorded some demos for it. In fact, we did record some demos, but again, it was kind of still writing it as we were in the studio, and we changed producers from Steve Oliwick to Robin Miller, and it was great working with Robin, and you know, just a different way of working, and. We had this song called "The Sear," and we kind of thought it'd be great to get someone like Kate Bush to sing on this. You know, Kate didn't come in and do a backing vocal; she came in and completely, you know, kind of rewrote it. And I always remember Stuart saying to Robin, "It'd be great if we could get someone like Kate Bush on this." And he went, "Oh, why don't I just phone her up?" And Stuart just went, "Oh, well, can you do that?" And he went, "Yeah, I'll get her number and I'll phone her and ask her if she wants to appear on the record." So he did, and she did, and it was absolutely fantastic.
Wow. Well, I know for the next album, Peace in Our Time, you actually came here to LA where we're based and made the album with Peter Wolf, which I know is a little different, you know, format for you guys. What was your recollections of living and recording here in Los Angeles and making that album? Yeah,
we lived on Larrabee Street, just down from the strip, down from Tower Records, and we used to commute out to the valley every day, and I think we spent about 3 months out there, and we loved every minute. We just loved being in Los Angeles. It was great. It was different vibe from being in Stockholm for a couple of months. The album certainly sounds different. We were kind of we changed record label. We moved from Polygram in America to Warner Brothers. We got signed up by Morrison and Lenny Waronker on Reprise. But I guess they wanted us to sound a bit more kind of Americanised than what we were, you know. But we kind of went along with it because we were being good boys at the time. But I don't think that kind of sound suited the band or benefited the band. But it's, you know, it's got some good moments, that record. The production on it's great, but it doesn't sound like Big Country.
Yeah, well, I know it's the constant battle, you know, dealing with the record labels and, you know, trying to follow your creative heart and still have that backing, you know, of a company that's going to make and push a great album. How was it, you know, dealing? Obviously, you switched labels at that point, but was it always a struggle to kind of follow your heart and give the company, you know, what they wanted?
Yeah, I mean, it's not always a struggle, but sometimes it can be a bit of a struggle, but not all the time, you know. And also, I think as a band, you want to try new things as well. So, and there's no point, I mean, if we wanted, we could have made every record sound exactly the same, you know. So it's always good to collaborate with different people and get their take on things. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, you know, but we always prefer to collaborate with producers as opposed to producing ourselves all the time, you know.
Well, that's great. You know, we love the Big Country sound, the catalog. I know you guys have, you know, kept the name and spirit alive, and you know, it was tragic to lose Stuart. You know, what are your best memories, you know, of Stuart? What do you feel his legacy should be?
I mean, I always just remember, for some reason, I always remember the early times, because the early times, like the first album, the first tours and stuff, it was like the first time you do something like that, so they always stick in memory, you know. And I always like to, when I'm reflecting, I always like to go back to the very early days when it was just the four of us in the back of a bus kind of thing and travelling to gigs and stuff. And, you know, they're always the days that kind of make me smile, you know.
Yeah, it's like some young kids, you know, from Scotland, you know, against the world. It's quite an exciting time.
Yeah, it was great fun.
Now, obviously, your son plays with you. Jamie is now a guitarist, you know, in the band. And did you kind of help him, you know, start playing guitar? Obviously, he was around a father who played guitar all the time. You know, how did he latch on and become interested in playing guitar from the first?
Yeah, he's just always been interested in playing guitar from when he was really, really young, you know. So, and obviously when I used to come home from tour, there'd be guitars lying about all over the house and stuff. And, you know, I'd come home and he'd have a guitar around his neck and, you know, let's see what I've learned how to play. And he used to learn all the Big Country stuff and SKIDS stuff and stuff like that when he was really young. So I always encouraged him, you know, but not thinking that he was going to be in a band with me, you know, one day, you know. And it wasn't until he was in his teens and Big Country had obviously finished, you know, and Jamie and I got together and we just ended up playing together every night, and we ended up writing an acoustic album called Another Anthem for the Damned, which we put out, you know, and ever since then we've just been joined at the hip. We've, you know, played in bands together ever since then.
Sure. Well, I know, you know, it leads us to the new album, Men of Steel. And of course, that's you and your son, Jamie, along with an American musician, Thomas Kercheval. Tell us about, you know, meeting Thomas and how this led to you guys forming this group and making this album together.
Yeah, well, Tom's got a Facebook site called Great Divide, and it's a Big Country podcast that he does, which is really fantastic, you know. And he's also a great writer, great musician. So whenever he was doing a podcast, sometimes I would send him I'd go up in my studio up in my attic and record a little piece of instrumental music, and I'll send it to Tom and say, like, why don't you, just for fun, play this on use it as the intro music for the next podcast, which he did do. And then he used to send me some of his songs. And I used to send him just ideas that I had, and we kind of went, well, you know, we're doing this, why don't we attempt to write maybe 2 or 3 songs and bring an EP out on the internet, you know? So we did that, and we discovered that we could collaborate together between Tom, Jamie, and myself in our own different studios, you know, and just fire the music across the internet, and then he would fire it back, and I'd add a bit, and fire it to Jamie, he'd add a bit, and back to Tom. And it was just an interesting way of working, you know. And we ended up getting more songs in the 3, and we just continued to work. And that's why we brought out this album called Men of Steel.
Well, tell us about how you recorded this. Is it self-produced? Did you use a special studio, or how did you make it?
We recorded it, and like I said, each of our own studios on digital laptops, just using the software that's in the computers, and like we just sent them over the wire. So each musician in the band could add their bits, and we also used the old Big Country keyboard player, a guy called Colin Berwick, who lives in Australia now, and we even sent the music down to him, and he played keyboards on that and sent it back, you know. So it's a good way of working, you know, especially with what's going on just now, when you're not allowed to, you know, work with other people in close proximity. So we're going to maybe try and get some more material on the go, you know.
Well, that certainly makes for a true around-the-world collaboration from, you know, Scotland, the UK to US and Australia. That's amazing. Now, I know there's a special bit of Stuart Adamson on this record in the song Nationwide. Talk about, you know, the song that Stuart helped write and record with the Skids.
Nationwide was a song that the Skids used to do way back in the day when they first started, and it was a real sort of, you know, a real punk sort of thrash song, you know. And they never actually recorded it, but there was a copy of an old cassette demo that was doing the rounds, and I had a copy of it. I just always thought it'd be a really cool song to cover, you know. So I spoke to Tom about it, and he went, yeah, that'd be great, that'd be brilliant, you know, great fun to do. So, you know, it's like, you know, this thing's 100 miles an hour, you know, it's like, it was quite difficult to play because it's so fast, you know. But yeah, it's great song.
Yeah, tell us about some of the other songs. I know you've got, you know, great songs on there like Edison's Last Stand and Killer Cranky, Seven Swords. Talk about some of your favorite songs on the album.
Yeah, we've always, you know, I've always written songs, I've always collaborated with Jamie, and excuse me, that was my doorbell. That must be my dinner arriving. Yeah, so just these songs are just stuff that we've collaborated over, you know, over the past couple of years. There's a great song that we co-wrote with Tom called Rose Red Sunset. I'd say that's one of my favourites. Also another song that Tom wrote called Smolder, which is an amazing song. In fact, we're going to be doing a video for that this week, again, from the privacy of our own homes.
Wow. That's amazing. Now, obviously, no one saw this pandemic coming, you know, with the coronavirus, COVID-19. Obviously, this is changing, you know, everyone's lives as far as, you know, staying in and curtailing the touring and shows for now. But what do you hope is the best thing that comes out of this experience and challenge?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's you're just living at one day at a time kind of thing, you know, and all we're doing is just like self-isolating across here, and, you know, trying to keep physically fit and mentally fit, you know. So, I mean, I tend to, you know, obviously not going out, but you do have to go out to do your shopping and stuff like that, you know. So I mean, I tend to spend my mornings, get up early and do a bit of physical stuff, do a lot of work around the house and stuff like that, and then as we get into the late afternoon, come back indoors and, you know, try and do some creative stuff, maybe try and write a song or work on a video, you know. So
Well, it's been an amazing run in history watching what you've done for the last 40 years. You know, Bruce, what advice do you have to, young artists today? I know it's a different world out there, but,
I have no advice.
yeah, but, if it's in their blood, if they're coming up, they want to play guitar, they want to write songs, what can you kind of help them with?
If what you think, if you like what you're doing, then it's good, so continue to do it.
So follow your heart, kind of do.
Yeah,
Go,
yeah, definitely.
yeah. You should do it for the love of it first. Some people think it's, quick money or the fame and all that, but it's got to be for the love.
Yeah, it's got to be a labour of love, definitely. And if you make money out of it, then all good and well.
Well, that's a bonus. So the album is Men of Steel. It is Watson, Kercheval, Watson. The website is wkwmusic.com. Bruce, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you make it back to the U.S. shores here soon.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to meet up with you, Jay. That'd be brilliant. Thank you.